Gaza Week, Part 5. It does have a title. It's Why Gaza, Why Now? But this is totally unscripted. It's just off the top. I'm just going to speak from the heart. And the reason I'm able to do that, honestly, is because I've spent, the last week deep diving and looking into this and researching. So I don't really need to organize my thoughts too much. Listen, if you're a mother or a father, a son, a daughter, a granddaughter, a grandson, a cousin, an uncle, an aunt, just really any human being at this point, this should be a pretty easy one. I shouldn't have to explain global politics. I shouldn't have to explain the mechanisms in place here and why it's a beautiful culture in Palestine. I shouldn't have to explain any of that. This is such a fundamental question to me, at the heart of our basic humanity, that it's all right, what are we doing here? That's honestly how I feel about it. I'm just like, what are we doing here? Why are we even having a debate or a discussion? I mean, honestly, this whole week has been completely pointless. Not because of views or engagement or anything else. It's just been pointless because it's this is a fucking layup. If you were to take the pictures and the videos that I've seen this week and you were to take the color all the way out of them and just turn them into black and white pictures and videos, you would see the thing that I see, I think. That we haven't seen atrocity like this since World War II, ironically. And that somehow the search for a peaceful place to exist has turned into a search to be the only people that live there and to be the only people that exist there, and to erase a culture and a people. I've used the word over and over again, and I stand on this. This is a fucking genocide. Now, October 7th, it's terrible. The anniversary is coming up soon. And I know that there will be no space for civil discussion about this pretty soon moving forward. I know that our dear leader has said that he's going to end this war and that Hamas has agreed to return the hostages. There may be a ceasefire imminent, and I think that is a beautiful thing if that ends up being the case. And of course, if Hamas didn't agree, they were just going to blow Palestine into the fucking ground. And ending the war is incredibly important. It will stop the current genocide. And that is a real big necessity. It'll stop the children from suffering so much. It'll stop the innocent civilians from suffering so much. And Hamas bad. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, clearly Hamas is bad. And clearly Israel sucks at war. Stop the bullshit. You have all the means and all the resources in the world to do this better. But you have full support, for the most part, in Israel to do this, because that culture at this point is so dehumanized that many Israelis do not see them as human beings. It's why they're okay with this happening. I've said this earlier on my social media pages and some of the accompanying posts that have gone along with these videos. But for me, it's just so not hard to see a teenage boy in Under Armour and Nikes just as my son. And that breaks my fucking heart. It's not hard for me to see a little girl doing her best to not be completely consumed by the chaos around her as my daughter. And it's not hard for me to see the young kid playing with a soccer ball amongst wreckage and rubble as my young boy who loves soccer and who wants to go on to be the next Ronaldo. They are them. There's no separation for me. There's no excuse for what's happening in Gaza. Period. Point blank. Full stop at all. And although a ceasefire and the end of the war is absolutely a step in the right direction, it does not free Palestine. Ending the genocide is phase one and incredibly important. But it doesn't free Palestine. It doesn't erase the destruction that's happened. It does not erase the confinement. It will simply give them a chance to rebuild back an infrastructure that I have no idea how they could possibly do that at this point. It will just stop open and active aggression. But I don't think we're anywhere different the day after a ceasefire in regards to how that culture has been diminished as a people. And this is a basic question. Do all people have the right to a safe space to exist on planet Earth? For me, that answer is very clear. It's a very unequivocal yes, of course. Again, Hamas bad. Take out Hamas. Do what you got to do. If you want to liberate the people of Palestine, I'm all for that. But acting like you can just kill 80% civilians, 44% children, because it's so difficult to do, well, that's just bullshit. We see it in front of our eyes every single day, if you're looking. And if you can look at those videos and those pictures, and you can see the horrific things that I've seen, and you can live with yourself to be like, no, this is okay because shooting a child in the head is worth the abstract concept of protecting your family. And I mean that from really abstract. I've had conversations with American Zionists who have, are nowhere near Israel, who will co-sign this bullshit. Then you're just a lost soul. And honestly, whatever God you pray to, good luck. Good fucking luck. It's like a colloquialism or whatever, but this is the defining moral question of our era, of our time. Did you stand on the sidelines and allow this fuckery to happen? Or were you compelled to say, knock it the fuck off? And it's pretty simple. I'm just putting it in plain terms. Like, yo, chill the fuck out. What are you doing? We seem incapable of having an honest discussion about this because the emotions of things. And I get that. I do. The response to October 7th reminds me of the weeks and years after 9/11 here in this country, where the search for terrorists and the perpetuators of those against the American empire was so great that we lost our humanity as a country. It took us a long time to even come close to recovering it somewhat. 9/11 was terrible. Its losses outpace October 7th, hand over fist. And America did some very bad things in reaction to that, in what it viewed as justified looking for the criminality and looking for the perpetrators against this great country. And I just don't know how we can repeat that. I just don't. I was having a conversation with a Zionist who I've known for 20 years. When a person you know for 20 years can say to you, yeah, I would kill a child if it meant protecting my family, then I probably can't be that person's friend no more. Because that's a moral line and a moral divide between me and him that's unfortunately never going to be bridged. So be it. I came to this cemetery to start this because it just felt like the most appropriate place to be because of what this represents. This represents not just 50,000 graves and 50,000 dead people. This represents what happens when your country is deeply engaged in activity that costs its people its life. It's a very serious activity, war. It's the most serious activity humans can engage in. And it's not an activity that we should engage in frivolously. And it's not an activity that we should celebrate ever. It should be viewed as a complete failure of our ability as humans to live peacefully in society, to be able to cultivate spaces where people can live and enjoy themselves. But even if war is necessary at times, I'm not naive, it still should never be happening the way it's happening here. Bibi Netanyahu is a war criminal who should be put in prison. He has broken every Geneva Convention law that exists on planet Earth. He is starving children to death, getting on TV and saying, there's no famine. Like, bro, what do you think? We're fucking stupid? We see it. We see it. The fuck is you talking about? You're going to tell me what I see with my own two eyes isn't real? You're going to tell me that the children I've seen essentially burned at the stake? You're going to tell me that the children who have been starved to the point where they look like skeletons and their parents look like skeletons too, that's not real? What do you think? This is AI? No. Oh, it's real. And there's no excuse for it. You're a fucking war criminal. You should go to jail. You should be fucking sent to the gallows, bro. I don't give a fuck. If you have any shred of humanity left, put all the politics aside. Put all of this shit to the side and just be a human being. And recognize, like, is this what you're co-signing? End the genocide in Gaza. Free Palestine. Not just the ceasefire. Because even just immediately ceasing to kill innocent civilians, children, women, and men doesn't solve this problem. Until then, we're just in a state of pause, I guess.